House of Representatives ad hoc committee set up to investigate the disappearance, reappearance, reinstatement and promotion of the former chairman, Presidential Pension Reforms Task Force, Abdurrashid Maina, has commenced hearing. In attendance is the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, the Minister of Interior, Abdurrahman Dambazaw, the Head of Service, Winifred Oyoita, and a representative of the Inspector General of Police. The Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, has denied having any involvement in the reinstatement of the former chairman of the Presidential Task Force on Pension Reforms, Abdurrashid Maina. The AGF also alleged that there is an existing pension fraud syndicate made up of politicians, legislators and retired civil servants. How messy is the can of worms being revealed? Who are the culprits? Are Nigerians being taken for granted though? Will there be an end to what may turn out to be a long-drawn process? Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channels, where you can get our videos. Follow us right now on m.channelstv.com and on Facebook. We've got all our platforms and social media covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV. Use the hashtag State of the Nation to air your thoughts on the subject. It's prime time in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. This is State of the Nation. I am Gimba Umar. Right behind me. Data feeds are still coming through all in one place simultaneously on our social media platforms. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV. Use the hashtag State of the Nation to air your thoughts. The government of Switzerland says that it is willing to help Nigeria end human trafficking and support victims to access justice and rehabilitation. The migration advisor of the Embassy of Switzerland in Nigeria, Jolanda Fitztaheron, made this known during a ceremony for presentation of the empowerment equipment to victims of human trafficking at the Benin Zonal Office of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Light as it may sound, the problem of trafficking is indeed deep and worrisome. Let's get an insight on this. The Director General of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Julie Oka-Donley, joins me from our Abuja studios. Many thanks indeed for joining us on State of the Nation at this time. I can imagine you have your hands quite full lately because of the so many issues popping up for your agencies to tackle. But concerning the refugees situation, especially those returning to the country, we understand about 40,000 of them. Tell us the efforts you have been able to make this far to try to absorb 40,000 people is quite much.
Well, the truth is NAPTIP concerns itself with victims of human trafficking. And so when a lot of these irregular migrants who are repatriated back to Nigeria arrive, we profile, identify, and then deal with just those who are victims of human trafficking. We're able to accommodate them in our various shelters scattered in 10 states of Nigeria. And sometimes, if the shelters are full, we get assistance from other shelters.
And then right now, as we speak, you're expecting about 2,000 of that category in Lagos. And to accommodate them, you are moving some of those persons already in your facility here under your care to be accommodated in Benin City, the Edo State capital. What plans do you have on ground for the ones being expected?
Yeah, the ones coming, like I earlier said, are not all going to be victims of human trafficking. And so those of them who are victims will keep in our shelters. If the shelters are full, we transfer them to other shelters that are available. And of course, we seek for help with other available shelters as well.
To, of course, identify which ones are under your purview to look after.
I beg your pardon?
How are you able to identify those amongst, say 2,000 being expected in Lagos? How are you able to identify who are under your care for you to make that selection and separate from the bulk of those coming?
As a matter of fact, we're expecting 295. We ask questions, we interview them. During the question and answer session, we're able to determine whether they are victims of trafficking or just irregular migrants who just went there, you know, and were doing some odd jobs before they were eventually repatriated. We're able to find that out through our trained officers.
I'm really concerned on the sheer number of Nigerians outside of this country. In Mali, for instance, more than 5,000, we have been told, who left the country for greener pastures, promised them in Europe, but somehow they got caught up in the middle and at the end ended up in Mali. Currently, they are living in less than humane conditions. What's going on? How do we help those kind of people?
Well, we have a bilateral agreement with the Malian state, Malian government, and we're looking for ways to repatriate those who are willing to come back, you know, to Nigeria and rehabilitate them. Really, a lot of them have been caught up in this web of deceit, you know, for better jobs, you know, and practically all of them in all of these countries are trafficked victims. And so we are looking for ways to bring them back, to rehabilitate them and gradually reintegrate them back into the society. Of course, with the help of the Malian government and Nigerian government, we are working on it.